Welcome back or welcome front if it's the first time joining us. I am Joshua with Weird Gaming Adventure. As always, Drydeck TV. And not as always, but pleasure to have, we have Jamie from TurtleWoW.
Yeah.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
So how's it going, gentlemen? How's your day been thus far?
I mean, it's been okay. I woke up a little bit or later than I normally do. I was up to like 2 a.m, grinding on COA, trying to get some gear. So I was up pretty late. The lady wasn't particularly happy with me, but I was like, hey, new patch, new hype. Gotta try to capitalize on the early game gold if I can. So
You could have sex anytime, right?
yeah, exactly.
And so it's the day for us, but it's the night for Jamie. So how's your day? How's your day and night, Jamie?
It's been okay. It's been okay as far as the days have been. As I just told you guys, since I've recently been tested positive on COVID, days have been kind of timid. Just trying
Right.
to get better, trying to get well,
For sure.
doing some development work on the meanwhile.
Man, I can't imagine. I've been fortunate enough to avoid it for the last couple of years, but I can't imagine doing that and still having to be productive. So you mentioned you're still doing some development. So you want to tell us exactly what you do for TurtleWoW server?
I'm sorry, I'm just messaging everyone right now.
No,
Oh, sure.
Get as many people in here. I love hearing people's questions because I'm like
Yeah.
completely unfamiliar with actually playing the server. I know about it. I would love to hear what people who are deep into it, have concerns about. Whatever, it would be cool.
So currently, I wouldn't call me deep into it. I'm level 11.
That's a long time on TurtleWoW, though.
Yeah, that is some time.
That's
That is
some
some time for sure. Level 11, and looking forward to. Gosh, I forgot how much I love the Barons.
Really?
Yes, you don't like the
You're
Barons?
psychotic, bro. That shit sucks.
Oh, come on, dude! I love the Barons.
I mean, like, it's nostalgic, but I already hated spending, a day and a half, 2 days in one hub zone. I couldn't imagine spending a week there because of TurtleWoW.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Bandit agrees with me.
Yeah. Turtle hype.
It's mostly vanilla though.
Yeah. That's true.
Vanilla leveling. On Turtle, though, you have a few options to gain extra XP.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What are those options?
the survival profession that we have, which allows you to build your own tent, set up your own tents, and tents allow you to, they stack multiplicatively, so multiple people can have multiple tents, and they allow anyone in the vicinity to gain rested XP way faster than normal.
Oh, really?
Which means that you're effectively, if you always log out near a tent or just sit near a tent while you AFK, that you effectively get bonus XP. And there is war mode, of course, which flags you for PvP permanently, which gives you bonus XP.
Now that's what I'm talking about. I love having a little bit of excitement in my life. So okay, why don't you tell, for those that just joined, why don't you tell everyone what exactly you do for TurtleWoW, and then tell us exactly what TurtleWoW is compared to regular WoW.
Right, so I'm Jamie. I'm co-management on TurtleWoW and lead server developer. I handle things as mechanic changes, core changes, and management side of things. So making sure that the team stays up to date with our plans, making sure that the players are being equally treated by the team as expected. So making sure that there's no problems in between the teams themselves. Other than that, if I look at TurtleWoW, your other question, if I look at TurtleWoW and comparing them to other servers, I think what TurtleWoW has been and is still trying to achieve is that the journey of leveling, the journey of playing the game at all, is part of the experience. I think, and I'm talking about this in a greater sense with a lot of MMOs and games. I think a lot has come down to rushing things, rushing content. AAA studios developing new games, but also just WoW in general. I think it's all about the grind to endgame, leveling to 60 in this case for vanilla servers,
Mhm.
and then getting the best gear. That's what it's about. When you're 60, the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on TurtleWoW, we do not share that vision at all. We try to pull that back. We try to make sure that leveling in itself is enjoyable and a memorable experience, either by cooperating with other people or doing a lot of the custom content we've added
Mm-hmm.
to make experiences refreshing for other classes and other races, and for people who are new, obviously, to vanilla, or old timers, veterans who've leveled a billion times on other servers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, that sounds. I mean, I've heard that sentiment echoed between a lot of people where like, you know, the game starts once you have raid gear or like when you start raiding. Um, I guess if Josh would like to, or would eventually like to touch on this after this. So if anyone from the stream is unfamiliar with me, you know, I play on Project Ascension. I'm sure you've heard of that private server before. It's one of the most
I,
prolific private servers at the moment.
I have.
Okay, so you know, I've been playing off and on for like 3 or 4 years on Project Ascension. In the last year, um, mostly on my YouTube channel, I've been really pushing high end, like realm first type things, doing ascended rating, realm first stuff, getting realm first kills. So as a player, personally, how I play is very performance based. You know, we look at numbers, we look at meters, we do high end theory crafting, we look at mechanics, how to break it down, all that stuff. Um, and in Project Ascension, leveling is pretty quick because I believe a lot of the end game starts when you get to max level, start unlocking
Hmm.
random enchants, getting better stuff for your gear, unlocking new things because the build opportunities in Project Ascension on paper are technically limitless. Um, and coming from someone who seeks extreme levels of performance out of me and my peers, uh, it's hard for me personally to go back to do that slow journey grind, even just in traditional, like classic Blizz like servers. The leveling for me is even too slow because I'm thinking, oh man, I want to get this talent or I want to get this gear and I want to see what the numbers are. I'm very math oriented and very performance based. So how would you, as someone who by the sounds of it is almost polar opposite, try to sell me on slow down, take your time, be level 30. It's cool. Just enjoy it.
Right. So I don't think we're polar opposites. I recognize this, what you talked about. I recognize this in myself when I play games, other games. I just think that overall, this has, like I said before, snuck in the gaming industry overall with
Mm-hmm.
a lot more gamers. There's a less time. There's more rush. We need to do this, and we need to look at numbers, like you say.
Yeah.
And overall, if you look at endgame rating for vanilla, if we're talking about vanilla right now, it makes a lot of sense. Some rates are just not clearable if you don't have the right numbers, the right gear, the right composition, and that is completely fair because that is what you ultimately end up as. Um, but I think that there's definitely room for that slowdown in the leveling process, or not even in the leveling process, but also end game right before best in slot raids. Right before that time where you do dungeons, like the custom dungeons we've put out, 3 of them are oriented towards level 60 players. And even with those, we're trying to kind of push that narrative of just take it in, new content, enjoy new content, take it in, see what else is on the horizon when it comes to exploring things. I think the main goal of an MMORPG has always been, for me at least, that you cooperate with others, people that you would never talk to, like in real life, and you cooperate and you end up somewhere on a shared path, a shared goal, gear,
Mhm.
whatever you name
Sure.
it. Something you would never think of before you meet these people. The game is kind of that bond between these players.
Right.
And I think MMORPGs have kind of evolved or devolved to skip that whole process. It's now based on, like I said before, gear score. You can't enter or you can enter. It's less social. It's become more and more of a numbers game, like you say.
Yep.
And trying to encourage you, for example, a player like you, to try TurtleWoW out is, I think there's room for both. And I think you need to be able to accept that the social aspect of it, that don't go too fast. You can cooperate with your online friends in that game and do things together. And that can also be enjoyable, and have that numbers game later where you want that gear, where you want to have the best in slot gear.
Sure.
Both of those things can be rewarding in my eyes. I feel like the best in slot gear is obviously rewarding because you get there in the end game, but the social activities and cooperating and helping other players can also be rewarding in its own way. And I think the social aspect has kind of fallen off,
Okay.
and that's a shame. And I think TurtleWoW is great for those types of people too. I think both people can coexist, and I don't think every player is a performance type player or a social player. I think every player has a little bit of both in them.
Yes.
It's just about your experiences with one of the or the other.
Sure.
And I think that.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead. Feel free.
I was gonna say, I think that's why Drydeck and I we do pretty well together, because he is if anybody follows his channel, he is at the top of the spectrum. He is teaching people how to build guides and everything, and how to be a high end end game player. Whereas like me, I am more of a casual player. I enjoy the ride along the way. You know, I enjoy the hype of a game. That's what my YouTube channel generally is. And so
Right.
I enjoy the journey along the way. Now, what I get super excited about is the PvP. So that's the end game for me.
Yeah.
Like, you join a game for PvE in my mind, but you stay there for the PvP. And I'm going to get to a lot of these. There's so many different questions and comments
Yeah,
in
there
there.
really is.
We'll get some good stuff in there. But let me ask you a quick question. Since I am low level in TurtleWoW, how is the PvP in TurtleWoW?
I think PvP is something we've realistically or historically struggled with when it comes to bringing that to the community. I think first and foremost is that because TurtleWoW is advertised as RP PvE, that's the type of server we're going with. But everyone playing has a different idea about what RP PvE is. Is it the game type itself, like the realm type, which means you won't be automatically flagged in contested zones? Or is it the nature of social interaction? Is it, what should I expect here? Should I expect PvE or PvP oriented people? And I think there's a big difference in that. Some people expect, when I say RP PvE, that there's no PvP at all. This
Okay.
is the server for them. But that is not the case with TurtleWoW, and that's not something that we as a team want to encourage. We want to encourage both PvE and PvP and RP, actually all three. We want to make it very clear that we're welcoming to all three of these communities. And we've tried, and we're still trying. It's an ongoing effort to keep all of these three communities satisfied, but also to try to mix them together so that players from one community might at some point be like, you know what, this PvE or this RPing isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
For
Oh, that's
PvP low levels, we now, for example, offer XP for winning a battleground or losing less XP. So you could actually level through battlegrounds if that's your thing.
Yeah. Project Ascension does a similar thing as well.
yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
All right, Drydeck, why don't you hit us with some of these comments?
Sure.
And thank you all so much.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.
So many here. Mhm.
Much appreciated. So there was one. Let's see, where was it? So got to Lost Ark. No. Okay, so this is one that I want to maybe bounce off you, Josh, or not Josh, excuse me, Jamie, if I can. So Golden Frying Pan said, I don't really get the rush, quote unquote, in Ascension classless with the ability to weave your own class. The leveling seems to me as the big point of the server. So I'm not sure if Golden Frying Pan has experienced Project Ascension in its entirety, like a lot of it, or played a lot. I can only speak from my experience from playing a lot. You know, let me try to craft this question to maybe relate both games together. So TurtleWoW obviously is vanilla WoW. Things are much less powerful and even slow down more so than other servers. So in Project Ascension, the reason I advocate for people to try to get through leveling as quick as possible is because, and not to sound rude, realistically, you can auto attack your way from 1 to 70 Project Ascension quicker than you can using full abilities in like Blizz-like vanilla servers. You are incredibly overpowered in Project Ascension. So I advocate people to get past that point because realistically, it doesn't add much to your gameplay experience. So getting to that level 70 and then unlocking the random enchants, getting the better gear, and then crafting builds, which I do a lot, actually it makes me enjoy the game more long term. So in TurtleWoW, obviously things are much less powerful, and you put a very heavy emphasis, excuse me, on leveling. How did you find a niche for people to be like, look, we know there's Blizz-like servers out there and people want that slower, like, setup. Let's go even slower. How did you and the team come to the realization that people want an even slower experience because of all these rushed servers, if that makes sense?
Right. So I think this was something that was clear to me from the moment that Blizzard said that they would come out with WoW Classic. So vanilla again in classic form.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw how many players how many people were so hyped for it when the classic servers opened, and when we're looking at servers like Nostalrius, I don't know if you know that server.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. They were huge. A couple of others, they were extremely booming.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed Blizzard that, okay, people actually want to enjoy or relive vanilla again. So then they made Classic, and Classic was a big success, I would say, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as to why these people want that, I think it's twofold. One of them is some players that play right now were too young.
Yes.
They are playing a later expansion of WoW, and they know that the older expansions were out there, or the base game, but they haven't played it, so they wanted to experience it firsthand, compare it to what WoW is now, or play it with their dad, their uncle, their mom, whatever, their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I think, as you say, with Project Ascension as well, and with later expansions in WoW, is that more and more you feel like you're more of the hero type. You're not just another adventurer. You spawn in at level 1, you get a few abilities, you kill some wolves or some trolls, level 1 and creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tank 5, 6 of them. It doesn't matter. You won't die.
Right.
You'll level up. You'll get your max health again. You will never run out of mana, etc., etc.
Yep.
Do that in vanilla or in TurtleWoW in this example. Aggro too many mobs, you'll be dead. You'll you'll get this sense of, no, I'm not the superhero of this story. I'm just another inhabitant of Azeroth. And I think a lot of people were looking for that.
I've learned that. I've learned that. I died probably 7 times within my first 5 levels just because I was playing it like typical, and picked up a couple extra ads, and I'm not gonna run. Not gonna run. No.
Yeah.
You got to run. Okay, hey, there's some really great questions in here. I
Yep.
really want to get to
Let's do
this one here.
Naxxramas first.
Yeah, so Naxxramas 9 questions. Have the devs ever talked about making quest loots available to all party members to making leveling with a party more enjoyable? I want to play with my friends, but having to loot 50 bandanas with a 30% drop chance kills it in a way. How would you answer that?
We have actually. It's an ongoing discussion. Funnily enough, it came up recently again. There is sides both for and against. The sides that are for have the exact same reasoning as the questionnaire described. If you want to play with friends and you do your quest, you share the quest, you want to progress as a team, as a group. So that means if you have to kill 8 bandits or whatever and collect their bandanas, then you want to only have to kill 8 or 9 or 10, depends on the drop chance, but not that one party member only has 6 and the other one already has 8, so you wait for them. I understand that that can be frustrating. The against is it flows back into the same argument I made about why people enjoy vanilla. Weirdly enough, the pain of grinding, the pain of, I actually need to collect another few more for my party members. Let's help them out. Let's cooperate. It brings in extra reward. It makes it that much more rewarding for these quests to complete. For example, like just a simple quest is a very small example, but bigger quests or bigger loots and drops, it has more of an impact, as if you would just face roll it and just go through a dungeon or just go through a quest zone and be done within 3 to 5 minutes. But it is a point of discussion. So I'll be neutral on that for now. It might come, it might not come.
Okay, cool. There was one other question that MIKI3 Junior had. So question, do you plan to make level 60 hardcore mode available on Turtle? Like you don't automatically become normal upon reaching level 60, but you have to manually do it. So maybe he's getting at, is there a possibility like hardcore raiding and dungeoneering, Project Ascension has a system like that already. So do you have any plans of bringing that to TurtleWoW?
Right, so that's another question/feature that has been discussed internally. Right now we are in the middle of that discussion, so I can't say too much about it, but I think if we were to make that decision to put hardcore level 60s, the availability of hardcore level 60 in, then we would need to look at all possibilities of what could happen, as in people have accused us when we introduced hardcore mode that it split the player base, it split the community because hardcore people can't interact with normal people. And it's a fair assessment to make. It's something that we deemed when we introduced it as a valid thing to do, because sometimes you have to look at the pros and cons and just consider it regardless. But if we do that again for level 60s, we have a lot of level 60s right now, and this would mean that maybe we'd have to split up rating for these level 60s end games as well. So it's not an easy decision if we would put it in, but it's something that we have discussed. So it is on our radar.
So it's on your radar. It's been discussed. So that's the answer. Maybe we'll see it in the future. Hey, I want to take a few moments and just shout out some of the people in the chat. We appreciate you, Bandit, Panda Hulk, Mopping the Opera, Scander God. Oh man, there's 80 people in here right now, and there's so many questions.
Yeah.
One of the
Very
people,
nice.
yes. So Seppo the Superarian, I don't know. This is a question that I had, so I'm gonna cut that to the top of the front of the line here. He says, "TBC, when is that an option?"
Oh,
I'm sorry to disappoint. I cannot comment on anything related to TBC.
fair.
We have there have been talks,
Mhm.
but I can't go spoiling anything right now. If it comes, you'll see it in the announcements or updates, and if it doesn't, then you'll see some other content in the announcement or updates.
Fair.
All right, guys, I'm starting a rumor right now. He didn't say it, but Josh from Weird Gaming Adventure is saying that it's coming.
Can neither confirm nor
It's
deny.
coming. Can neither confirm. He will not confirm nor deny.
Where are you guys right now in TurtleWoW as far as progression? Are you MC, BWL, AQ, Nax?
We are at Nax. Nax has been cleared.
Okay.
They have been going at it for quite a while, so it has taken them a while. We do intend to spice some things up for Endgame Raiders,
Cool.
but that's all I'll say about that.
No, that's good because I actually had a follow-up question because you touched on like the kind of commenting on my desire to be like the best and raid and whatever. So I was also wondering that because the reason that I continue coming back to Project Ascension is the Ascended raids, specifically. They take content and change it wholesale, sometimes completely unique fights, like completely unique. And it's a new way of playing games that you're familiar with, but with like different twists on it. So I was wondering how maybe as a game developer, because your emphasis obviously in TurtleWoW is slow down, take your time, but also you're saying you want to add some things to the top end players. So you get through that slower leveling grind, you hit 60, then you start doing the hamster wheel grind of getting better gear and slowly working your way up that ladder, right?
Mhm.
So I guess my question ultimately is in a server that is from someone who is not experienced with it, because I have not played it. I have just watched videos on it. It's about the community. It's about the journey. It's about the interactions. It's about that slow build up, time investment into your character. At the end of the day, once you have full BIS, what is there to do in World of Warcraft besides leveling another character to try to recreate an experience you've already had that might not be as genuine as the first time?
Exactly. I think that's a problem that a lot of MMORPGs in general struggle with. What is there to do at end game?
Mm-hmm.
And for our case specifically, I think that, well, us as a team, we've discussed a lot, and we've discussed how to basically make it more appealing for endgame players to be active and play other than to, as you would call it, the famous raid logging.
Yeah.
Just to clear a raid. So there are other aspects of an MMORPG. I just named one, which is cooperation. And in our minds, in like for the team itself, that doesn't have to end when you hit endgame. It doesn't have to end in when you think of cooperation in endgame, you only think of raiding mostly and battlegrounds, I would say. But that's the PvE or the PvP side. There is no middle mode. There is no middle ground. And we as a team, we're looking at ways to try to add stuff, add content into that void, into that gap of bridging those two, of other things to do than just raiding or just running dungeons or just playing battlegrounds.
Right. Okay.
I got a question from Golden Frying Pan. Says, question, going forward in the near future, what do you want to push forward? Streamlining features like debugging quests, LFT, or integrating PF Turtle fully into the game, maybe, or push more content like Outlands, for example? Thank you for
Sorry,
the
could you
follow.
repeat that? The start? I didn't fully understand the start of the question.
So Golden Frying Pan wants to know, going forward, what do you want to push? Streamlining features like debugging quests or PF Turtle. What are you pushing?
Right. So over the months and years, our team has grown bigger and bigger to accommodate for more and more things.
Mhm.
And I think as a team, we're trying to do both. At times that's hard, and at times one or the other stagnates. But we're trying to make existing content more streamlined, better, fix bugs. Um,
Excuse me.
Bugs that are reported on the bug tracker, we try to fix so people can get a better game experience of the content that already exists. And on the other hand, we have other people trying to come up with new ideas for new content. Because as we say, we try to keep that part of the game fresh as well by providing more content. And that can be anything. That could be PvE, PvP, or just like I talked about, something somewhere in between. We have a lot of ideas lined up, but these take a lot of man hours and people to implement.
Mhm.
Yeah, all I can say to that is patience is key, but we're excited for what we are can still bring other than the expansion mysteries of Azeroth.
Sure.
So, quick question. So, with this review video that I'm doing for my channel, Weird Gaming Adventure, um, what would you recommend? Something that's different than other servers, that's exciting. What would you recommend that I focus on and cover in this? What really makes this TurtleWoW stand out that for this video? Kind of a convoluted question there.
No, that's fine. I think mostly I think it has two sides. One of them is the not so much the content aspect, but more the community aspect, as I recently talked about. I think here at TurtleWoW, the team has been trying very hard to build a community that's helpful and cooperative. And the players are mostly amazing on our server, and I very much appreciate the sense of community and helpfulness that a lot of players offer right off the bat. So I think number one where we stand out is the community and their support they're willing to give us. They're willing to give other players, whether it's asking questions in world chat about things they don't know, helping a quest that someone can't figure out. It's immediately picked up by veteran players or newbies alike, and they offer their support, which I think is great to see in a server. I think I value that most. Secondly, would be to just do the leveling zones you're used to, and maybe take a few extra leveling zones that we've added, but also spot the differences between the normal leveling zones you're used to and what we've added, because we try to spice some of the existing leveling zones up by adding extra quests in, but keeping that bliss-like feeling of existing quests. So you might encounter a custom quest or two in a quest line that you've already done a couple of times, and then you'll be like, oh wait, did that exist or not? And apparently it didn't, because it's on our server, and we try to very much extend that feature of not knowing, wait, was this in the game already by Blizzard, or was this done by the TurtleWoW team?
Sure. That seems pretty cool.
Hey, Dradek, why don't you hit us with some more questions from the stream chat?
Sure. So we'll do one from the chat because I have a very specific question for you that I'd like you to answer. So Mopping the Opera just said, do you guys consider creating a custom raid after Nax? And I know that many people have like thought about the vanilla, like classic plus, where Blizzard was going to quote unquote add the cut content or add more content past Nax. Um, as kind of a follow-up question to that same question, how in God's name would you be able to add more content to Vanilla WoW past Nax when the thing next to it is quote unquote tier 4, which is a TBC? So you'd be either extending out, pushing away the continuity of TBC and where that starts, or adding like tier 3.5 question mark?
Right, I can see that you are very much gear based in this sense of if you would add another raid after next, what would you do with gear? And that is a topic that's still open in the team. As for adding endgame after next, there are plans for that. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
But try to when we say we want to keep it vanilla or vanilla plus, it's also mostly about the timeline of what would transpire after what happened in the story of vanilla before TBC, basically.
Cool. Okay. If you don't mind, I do have a not necessarily directed specifically about TurtleWoW, but maybe just game development in general. So I've played many different mods, Diablo 1 mods, Diablo 2 mods, many different WoW mods. I always like to see other people's interpretation of IPs and products that I'm familiar with. That's actually why I started my YouTube channel, is because my friends always give me crap, like, why don't you come play the official games? Like, because I've played the official game to death. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to see other people's artistic rendition of stuff I'm familiar with, because as an artist, I like to do the same thing. So, I have in the past messed around with making recreating Diablo 1 within Grim Dawn with their game tools. Now that's pretty drag and drop type tools where it has like an asset and a doodad and you just put it on a 3D space and you can model it that way and change size and other stuff. So as someone who plays Project Ascension so intensely and seeing the amount of very entirely unique systems that they've put in as far as coding and stuff, as a developer, how hard is it to take like a WoW core? I'm assuming you use a prepackaged thing unless you've built your own engine. How hard is it as like someone who plays these mods to like get into modding itself? I've always wanted to just play around and like just do stuff in like a WoW private server on my own time, just messing around and trying new things. Like, how hard is the coding? How hard is it implementing tooltips, all these type of things, UI? I know that's kind of a convoluted question, but like, how hard is it to make a WoW mod, I guess, is the boiled down version of that question.
Right.
What do you say, Jamie? You got room on the staff for Dry Deck TV?
I have endless creativity up here, but when it comes to actually doing it, don't even ask, because I don't know how to do it. I could come up with 1,000 different ideas if you really want, but
we've had people come up to us or in the team with amazing ideas, and I would love to say, yeah, that's amazing, we're going to implement that, and that's that. It's just most of these ideas take a lot of time.
Okay.
So there just isn't room for most of the ideas that players come up with, which doesn't mean that they're not good. It's just, yeah. So, but to answer your question, how much time would it take for you to start up your own private server to play in? Not very much if you're computer literate. Just following a guide, a tutorial, reading up a bit. You could have it done within half a day or a day. The issue is now you have something that is running on your computer and you can log into your own server locally, but you don't really know what it's doing. It's basically working, but that's that. So how would you extend that? And that's where the issue comes in, because knowing what you have to do to add gameplay or change gameplay or add content is a very different thing. It's a very different thing because in all these expansions, I think Project Ascension runs on the Wrath of the Lich King client.
Yeah, the Trinity WoW Core 3.3.5a.
Exactly, right. In the Wrath of the Lich King client, it's a bit easier because it's by far the most tested.
Yeah.
expansion for private servers, which also means that there's the biggest community developers. And also this in turn means there's more tooling to help you create more custom content. For other expansions as vanilla, you don't really have that luxury. But even when you have that luxury, going back to Wrath of the Lich King, it's still in a lot of it still takes a lot of time and a lot of work to even get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not to even mention mods, like you said, because that's client side, and client side is even more difficult because Blizzard basically locked their game up. So you'd have to open up the game so that it would load your custom mod and use some third-party tooling like map editors or stuff
Sure.
that other people wrote that aren't really a part of any company. No one paid them to make it. So there might be a few bugs and glitches.
Okay.
And you'll just have to find your way through that. There is no guide to help you. There is no, because Blizzard was never wanted you to play with it, right? Unlike
Right.
Warcraft 3, where they gave you the map editor and you know it was fine because it was made by them.
Mm-hmm.
This is all very much, I don't want to say hacky, trial and error. It's mostly made by the open source community.
Right.
And so it has its flaws.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I've I've done some like digging around because I mean, even just I don't know if you're familiar with Conquest of Azeroth, the other private server that Project Ascension kind of like picked up. Liquid Outer Space, we did an interview with him as well, just like I think 3 weeks ago at this point, maybe a month ago. And he designed 21 completely new classes, right? And I was under the assumption that some of them might have been handmade, the animations, maybe the 3D like particle mapping and stuff. But I have a WoW model viewer that the company owner of Project Ascension sent me, so I could use it for like thumbnails and stuff, which is cool. I can load like particle assets of like spells and different doodads and different like floor textures and like the WoW.
I don't
loading
have
screens.
that.
So coming from someone who like have seen Project Ascension and Conquest of Azeroth, and it looks like some of the like animations are wholesale unique. I was wondering, like you kind of mentioned on the open source community, like I need a cool thing for like this one ability, and you send the name out kind of like on Fiverr. Does anyone have a particle effect and a 3D map of that might like match the description of this thing? So I was wondering if you guys have like reached out to other like quote unquote open source developers and say like I have like this spell, and you give them a description. Can you make, or do you have something in a database asset that I could use for this?
We have, but mostly, especially for vanilla, when it comes to these types of custom things, there aren't many people that can actually do that stuff.
Okay.
Well, they can, like 3D modelers. They're hard to find, but they're possible. It's possible to find them. It's just also 3D modelers who have experience and a background in WoW emulation, in what type of format the client, the renderer, expects.
Sure.
And the quirks that go with them.
Okay.
So it's not always as easy as to find people. It's not like a Fiverr job, as you would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always wondering that because it's some of the work I've seen people do. I'm like, it's next level to me. Just it's so
insane.
foreign. It's so foreign to me, like how some people can do that. So that's awesome. Just before we go any further, thank you everyone who's followed. I'm sorry that we haven't like been able to shout out each one. We want to give Jamie time to speak, and we want him to elaborate. So if you are following, I much appreciate it. Obviously, it's awesome. But let's continue getting some questions. Weird if you have any questions that you want to get to.
Let's throw some rapid fire questions at you, Jamie. We'll try to get these questions answered as quickly as possible. Sound good?
Sure.
All right. So we got iMagician. Question for Jamie. Will there be any more maps added to the Blood Ring similar to the TBC Arena?
No comment. Maybe.
Ooh, I love no comments. You're next, Strydick.
Okay.
You throw one out there.
Tyrannical 92 question. Oh, okay. Hold on. The chat is moving. Question. I've seen the changes for the talent trees, but there is any plan in the future for maybe a complete overhaul for specs, for all specs like in Vanilla Plus, to help out quote unquote meme specs?
To not give an answer that's too long again on that one, I think we should. It's not something that we immediately want to say no to, but we should take baby steps in approaching next class changes because we have a lot of people going from veterans, BIS people, to leveling people, to completely new people, and all of these changes, talents or spells, need to
be very careful.
Yeah, exactly. They need to apply to all of them.
Yeah, because if you change spell coefficients of anything, even by 0.5, or change a talent point by even like 0.2%, someone's going to find a way to break it. You have to be very careful with that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And fixing something breaks something.
It's usually.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
It's the age-old riddle. You fix 2 things on the bug tracker and 2 more appear.
Yeah, it's like playing Path of Exile. They fix this problem, and then like a texture problem happens, or there's like 1,000 different things break. So go ahead, Weird, you're good.
Yeah, Uberstraw, love that name. Question: have you considered the outlaw grift to allow you to be hostile towards your own faction? That's cool.
Right, we've actually read it and we've discussed it internally. And while it is a really cool idea, as I just said before, we've had a ton of cool ideas thrown at us, and only a couple can make it because of the time needed to implement them. But we do like it as a team. We think it's a cool concept.
Okay.
And if it will be implemented anytime soon, I can't say because of time constraints.
Fair. Okay. Something that's come up, I think, 3 times now. Cassian WoW asked it twice, I believe. Guild housing. So player-owned housing obviously is very, very popular in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's been rumored even as far back as Diablo 2 that there was going to be guild houses or like covenant houses and stuff like that. Is there going to be anything, or do you have internal discussions, something planned, slated for any kind of guild housing, or like a referencing to PoE, like a guild hideout where you can like go and do content from your hideout and then maybe explore the world together?
We very much have something planned for guild housing. It's very much a work in progress though.
Okay.
But it would elevate the cooperation required and the theming of a guild as to really feel what it is to be in a guild.
Sure.
It's less of a, oh look, this is my guild, I'm in this guild for raiding or whatever, or names. But it's actually more of a grouping thing, right, compared to like 5-man groups. So yeah, we are planning on it. It's just something that's in the works because the things we have planned for it, like before, take up a lot of time.
Sure.
I think you have to. Nowadays, I mean, that seems like it's one of the most popular things in any game, and so I'm really glad to hear that that is something that you're heavily considering, and sometime in the future it might be coming out. Gold Seeker 22, and stop me if I've read these or if these have been read already.
You're good.
Are there any chances of pre-raid events to happen more often than just before the raid? Did I read that right?
Sort of. One of his other, he has another follow-up question. Any chance of events returning like Scourge invasions?
The invasions we have not discussed, so I can't give any reasonable input on that because I could be like yes or no, but obviously I'm just one member of the team.
Okay.
So I can't give input on that. Events for custom content coming in the future, that could very well be a possibility.
Okay. Cool. So there was a question that I was going to ask earlier about like community stuff, because we touched pretty heavily on like what kind of keeps people playing TurtleWoW. It seems like the community. So this is coming from someone who like doesn't doesn't interact with player versus player content at all. I don't think like this is just me and my personal stance. I think it adds a negative detriment to most games because it seems all well and good at the start. But if you add rewards and incentivize people to hyper optimize the path to that reward, it typically leads to like extreme levels of griefing to the point of where people will quit playing your server.
Right. Agreed.
Project
I
Ascension,
think that goes both ways.
yeah, Project Ascension kind of suffers from that right now, is because they have like a high risk system where it's the illusion of PvPers fighting PvPers, and you lose gear and you lose stuff in your bags and you lose gold. That's all fine and good. That looks really good on paper. But the hard reality of it is most people will go out in like a clown suit of gear they don't care about losing just to acquire these more expensive things. So it's a net positive to people who want to just make gold interacting with the system. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the people who want to PvP end up losing out the most because they feel like the system designed for them is not designed for them in the like the reality of that, how that fleshes out. So in vanilla WoW, at the end of the content, you guys are past Nax now. Like someone's cleared Nax. I'm assuming most people are in AQ 20, 40, stuff like that. And I'm certain some people have echoed the sentiment that they did like the Grand Marshal grind, all this stuff. Like where does PvP fit in the grand scheme of like the end game thing? Because if people are done with raiding and they've done Grand Marshal or working towards Grand Marshal, do you have any systems in place for PvPers who really want to focus on PvP to experience more endgame past this arbitrary rank 14 goal?
Right. So it's something that has come up a lot. What to do about the PvP system? Some people very much enjoy the PvP system of vanilla. Most of them hate it because it's a time grind, and I can understand. It just feels very demotivating if you try over and over again, and then the reset happens and you're back to rank whatever. So no, I definitely understand that. It's something we've discussed internally over and over on the team, what to do with it. We have a few options that a few paths that we could take. Not only to improve the current system, make it more enjoyable for everyone,
Okay.
but also to extend when it comes to going over, getting rank 14 or going over it. But I think the extending part is something we should only realistically look at the moment we introduce PvE that's after next.
Okay, cool. Toby Home just added me in the chat. He's like, will there be any PvP events?
In the future, maybe. Yes, it's it has been discussed, and it's definitely not a no. It's a solid maybe at this point. We have a list of priority things right now.
Of course.
One of them is the class changes, and after that, we'll see what to prioritize next.
Sure.
And so
Tell
on
you
and
what,
so on.
guys. I tell you what, guys. When I get to where I need to be, I'll do a community, a fun little community PvP event.
There you go.
So yeah. So this is a great question. I mean, a really, really good question. And I think I lost it. Nope, found it. Okay, so from Thovi. Other than the Outland, do you guys plan to create entirely new continents, maybe on a small scale? So is there room for development?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yes, you plan on creating, or yes, there's room for development?
Yes to both. There is room for development, and in the future we plan on creating continents that would fit the lore that we set out. If is this a whole continent like the question states, or is this just some
Well, how about you give
smaller
us
thing
your
building it?
how about you give us your vision?
My vision personally is, yes, I would love to be able to bring players new content in the form of new maps and well, as the question stated, new continents. The issue with that is that I have to be very careful when saying it, especially if I talk for the team, because I
Right.
know how much work goes into it, and I know how much uncertainty there is to even be able to develop those things. You need specific people with a specific skill set, and there's only a couple of them to go around, and maybe it's not possible for those people to develop X or Y at that time. There isn't a wide set of people that we can choose from. Basically, it's pretty niche.
Yeah. I imagine when it comes to creating a server, a lot of it stuff you have the code, you just flip the switch. But something like that, you kind of got to build the house before you can flip the switch, right? Is that a good analogy?
Right, pretty much.
Mhm.
I think compared to Bliss-like servers, Turtle with custom content, what we've already put out and what we're working on, we are very lucky to already have the people that we have on our team, because a lot of them do great work. They know their stuff very well. Um, it's honestly, it's quite of a miracle that these people from everywhere, different cultures, countries, whatever,
Sure.
can all come together in this team that we have right now and make something out of it that others can enjoy so much. It's a very thankful job, I would say. It's grateful to see players enjoy it as you've envisioned it as your team. But there's also the very realistic side of it, that a player that might do a quest to talk to someone, talk to an NPC, and then go talk to another NPC, and that NPC does some talking, spawn some units, whatever, and you have to kill them, a mini boss. After that, the player would just be, oh well, that was fun, and goes to the next quest. While that whole thing that you just did in 5-10 minutes took developers 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, and that's just one quest. So
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I do have like kind of like a meta question, I guess, if you will. Like it's going to be kind of like glowy brain, so please try to follow along if it's going to be a long question. So me and Weird Gaming have kind of spoken about like the current state of MMOs and specifically World of Warcraft. So when people say there's like this common sentiment in retail specifically, there's so much to do, yet I don't want to do any of it. Okay.
right,
So there is so much you can actually do in World of Warcraft that it kind of becomes almost overwhelming, where people will carve out this very like focused, laser focused, and nothing else type gameplay where they just go for a goal, and after that, literally nothing else matters. Okay. Preach Gaming, he's a XWoW YouTuber, and many other people have like kind of spoken on how even though World of Warcraft is so big and there's so much you can do, the world feels completely dead. In the fact that like just leveraging this, Preach Gaming kind of made a funny comment when Argus stabbed the earth with a giant sword. It's still there and no one gives a shit about it anymore.
right,
It's like
right.
it's like the world is so, I don't know how to put it. Either way, me and Weird Gaming have talked about at least I shared this and kind of he kind of echoed the sentiment where there's like technically an infinite space. You can always add more content, but there's only a finite amount of time and energy that people will put into it to experience all of it. So some people have asked kind of like in chat, and this is kind of why I want to bring this up to you, is like, how relevant can you keep an ever expanding vanilla server going if you don't advance physically in like the story? So I guess my ultimate question is, once you reach kind of like this tipping point where there's so much actual material in your game that it becomes to a point where people will start not doing other things, how are you going to keep this infinite space where you're constantly expanding relevant forever? Because that's ultimately what you want to do with a server.
Right. So I think it's all about keeping things moderate, keeping things behind locked doors until like the appropriate time is there for players to experience or enjoy it. I think a lot of the can I call it that? The Asian type of MMORPGs.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, Lost Ark just came out, and that's a Korean grind fest game. So
exactly. The flaws that those games have, people call it gacha games, I think,
Yeah.
is that they have a lot of systems thrown at you at level 1. You
Yeah.
log in,
Yes.
hey, the daily spinner is there. Oh, by the way, look at your mail. Hey, you get a free login reward. Oh, by the way, did you check this?
Yeah.
There's so much stuff
Check
to
the
do
box.
that there is nothing to do. Like you said, you get
Yeah.
overwhelmed. So I think for us, it's very important that we make sure that we don't go there. And for what we've delivered thus far, I don't think we have or we will go there, because if you look at what we've delivered, a lot of custom content, it's still in line with what Blizzard originally gave you when you first played WoW Vanilla, which is just, what do you have? You have PvP and Battleground when you're leveling. You have just questing with other people. You have lower level dungeons you can do. You could do some professions with your friends. There's a few type of mini games, but that's about it. You can go exploring. There aren't very many systems thrown at you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You get your talents at level 10, you have your spell book, that's it. So I think it's all about moderability. If we add new systems or new content for players to enjoy while leveling, that we should do it gradually, that we should do it once players are accustomed to other systems, so that they can get accustomed to new ones. So you always try to walk that fine line between, oh, the player is bored now because
Mm-hmm.
you only have this, versus, oh, the player is overwhelmed.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I know that's kind of like it's such an open-ended question, but just talking on like why people, I feel, don't like, why MMOs kind of have been dying is because, most of us are getting older, right? We're not 15 anymore. We can't just smoke weed and play whatever game we want to anymore and drink Mountain Dew like I used to.
You're right. I'm not
Mhm.
15. I'm 25.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
as we age, we expect maybe our real life obligations and time constraints to start kind of mirroring our interaction with the game. And I mean, retail WoW is very, and not even just retail WoW, but like many modern games, we touched on it really early. The modernization features of this, when you play for a half hour, you can be as advanced or close to 90% of the way as a guy who plays 16 hours a day. Now,
Right.
now, as someone who plays a fair amount of video games, I still have my real life obligations I have to take care of. But when I really sit down and grind, I can grind for a long time if I have a goal in mind. Now, as TurtleWoW is supposed to be like the slowest version of WoW from what I've seen on the private server sphere, um,
Mm-hmm.
we touched on like, sell me the game. What, as someone who like doesn't really have a lot of time to invest in like 7 different games, because I'm already making content for like 3 different ones at the moment. Do you have any plans in the future to maybe, I don't know if speeding up is the right word, but giving avenues for people who want to not necessarily experience like a times 10 server, like an instant max level server? You touched on the tens, maybe get a max level character, go through that process once, and then maybe have some kind of consumable that you buy with in-game gold or something that will then speed up the other leveling process of your other characters to then experience more of the server. Because if you just play a rogue and like, oh, it took me a month and a half to get to 60, I don't want to do that again, but I want to play a paladin. Maybe we can cut that down to like 2 weeks. Like, do you have anything internally, considering you're kind of at the end of what vanilla has to offer as far as content? Do you have anything like that for players to look forward to that want to just be an altaholic?
Right, exactly. And I think this sentiment that you've described, as you also said, has snuck into a lot of modern games as well. And
Yes.
a lot of, well, you can literally see it on retail. It's basically, you can get a level boost if you want. You don't even have to level anymore. I think games have took a wrong turn in which you now have microtransactions to, you just bought a game, say for the latest Assassin's Creed has this. I
Oh,
think
don't
as
even
well.
get me started on that, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, you buy the game and now you have the game, what are you going to do with the game? Well, you bought the game to play it, right? Okay, so you start playing it, and then you're like, wait, this is taking too long. So now you can buy in-game, you can buy stuff to progress your character faster.
Right.
So you're basically cutting game time by giving away more money, by paying more money. What? Then why buy the game?
Yeah.
And this is this is kind of what we try to combat.
Sure.
Is that level 60, that Nax clear, that shouldn't, like, that is the end goal. But that's something that should feel so rewarding because it's so not unachievable, but it takes a longer to get there, basically.
Right. I
that
mean,
that reward once you are there.
Yeah, the world first
better
rag
than
kill
you
on
just-
Classic took like 4 days. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the grand finale.
Exactly. It's better. It's more rewarding if you finally get there.
Right.
What isn't rewarding anymore if you grind through it and then you're there, and then we do it again with an alt. Oh, by the way, now that alt is gonna go raid for best in slot gear.
Right.
Then we just skip that whole leveling process. We skip the story, we skip the content, we skip the zones that you might not have been to. We skip the extra content, we skip the custom content.
Mm-hmm.
And what we basically try to say is, hey, buddy, you just leveled up your paladin. Now you have an extra talent point and you can get Seal of Command. That's rewarding.
Yeah. Okay.
You now have an extra talent.
You know, Jamie, you have been so gracious with your time, and I don't know if a lot of you guys knew. He said it right at the beginning. He's got the vid.
Yeah.
He's got COVID. I told him we'd have him on for about 40 minutes. It's been 25 more than that. I just really want to thank you, and I'm sorry for going a little over. Do you have maybe 5 to 10 more minutes so we can clean up some more of these questions?
That's completely fine. Sure,
Perfect.
I do.
If I could just do a very quick one. So just leading off of like the leveling up process, maybe not speeding up the leveling process. Is there content that like micro content that gives you that small feeling of progression outside of like talent trees that is in TurtleWoW or that you may added? Like you level up and you get, I don't know, an elixir that gives you two more strength or something like that. Like those, at least how I think it, those little tiny micro upgrades always make, instead of having those big step ups in power, having just very, very slow, tiny, like micro aggression, like progressions. Do you have any systems like that you've talked about before?
Not if you're talking about stuff that gives you strength, for example, not linked to in-game power, but we have the turtle glyph, for example,
right,
which makes your leveling process even slower, but it rewards you. It rewards you every 10 levels.
Okay.
So there's the extra reward of, oh, I'm almost at level 20 or 30. Right. There's another goodie bag for me waiting. Same with hardcore. Oh, but when I get to 60, there'll be that great reward.
Okay.
There's a couple of other things that we want to add that are in the works, which are basically not just the leveling process itself, but also you can also do this, not just the PvE or the questing or the PvP, but you can also do this to take a break from that whole leveling grind. It's not like you're level 37 and in a week you have to be 39 or 40. You can just stick to that level and do other activities that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to level from them. It's not like leveling is the only progression of the system.
Right.
WoW has very much hammered that in, I think, in retail especially, but we want to diverge.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so let's do some more rapid fire here.
Yeah, throw them in the chat, guys. We got about 7-8 more minutes. Let's get some questions going.
Oh, hey, it's Gravitas asks, and this is great. Are there any yet undiscovered secrets on TurtleWoW? And if no, will you put some in to spice it up?
Easter eggs? Nice.
If I say yes, they wouldn't be secrets anymore, would they? No, there's definitely a few undiscovered ones. Obviously, that's all I'll say.
Okay.
Okay, please tell me offline so I can make a YouTube video about it.
That's all you get. There is Easter eggs out there. You have to find them.
Oh boy, go for another
confirmed.
one.
Okay. Why are you trying to ruin TurtleWoW? Prophet asks. I'm not trying to ruin it. I'm just just relating my gameplay experience to something that I have no familiar with. Okay, so gift sub if gay. Okay, fair.
Decline.
Will you ever recognize the hardcore plus war mode players? They deserve their own reward bracket.
Wait, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Sure. Will you ever recognize the hardcore plus war mode players? They deserve their own reward bracket. I'm assuming maybe with in-game recognition, a leaderboard of some variety.
Right. Yeah. No, we've been looking into that. It's another one of our. It's another idea that's on our list. I think it's very courageous to pick perma PvP with a one life hardcore mode.
Mm-hmm.
For now, it's not implemented yet, but there are things that we have on our mind that we would like to add or implement. One of them might be a leaderboard, which combines the two. That's a good suggestion, but that is something, and I realize I'm repeating myself, but that's something with the time and ID constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the time to implement this quickly enough?
Sure.
Etc.
Sure.
Cassium Wow asks, are you think of adding more features to secondary skills to make them more fun or practical, referring more to survival or gardening?
Yes.
One word answer. Love it. You're next,
You can get
right?
farming to 99, dude. We got RuneScape and WoW now. That's awesome.
Now we are going back to 15.
That's cool. Okay, something that someone had mentioned, and I'm just paraphrasing their question. Something about professions. Obviously, you have like 2 unique ones apparently. Will you expand on the traditional professions, enchanting, blacksmithing, tailoring? Now that like we're basically at an end of the content, do you have plans to add stuff to add more content for people to do who are like profession heavy?
Yes, I think we feel that some professions are left behind in mid or end game. Some are really like stand out in mid or early game, and we want to kind of drag one up or pull one up to kind of match the other professions, so that they're still their own niche, but it's not that that one is blatantly better than the other one. So, yeah, we do have plans.
Okay.
Well, you know what? There's just so many questions. We're going to have you back on another time. What do you say?
No, that's. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully, I'll be better then, and I won't be having another case of COVID. But no, I've enjoyed my time here, so that's fine.
Same.
Knocking on wood, my friend. Knocking on wood. Again, you've been so gracious with your time. You know, the TurtleWoW, from my experience, albeit short experience, it has been a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to this review video that I'm putting out.
Yep.
If you guys want to see some really great WoW content, I mean, top end builds and for different types of servers and everything, go to Dry Deck TV. If you want to go subscribe to my channel, I just do a bunch of just hype videos, I guess is the best way of saying it. But definitely going to be playing more TurtleWoW. Do you have anything to say on your way out, Jamie?
No, that's it. Thanks both of you very much for having me.
Perfect.
I enjoyed it, and yeah, I think we can do this next time for all the other questions that are still clogged up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If anyone here has enjoyed it, I will be uploading a full VOD. So if anyone has questions that they want to leverage or come up with questions, if you rewatch the VOD, I will upload it here on my YouTube channel. So get involved, get your questions, write them down, and then if we can get Jamie back for another interview, we could maybe do an entire question segment from the community. I think a lot of people would really, really appreciate just going a full ham on questions, because I don't play the game, so I don't really have inside scoop. But
yeah, that sounds like probably a lot of questions, but that sounds like fun.
Cool.
Sure.
Sounds awesome.
Yes. Drydeck, do you have anything to say on the way out besides thanking all of these wonderful people for coming in today?
No, it's been awesome. I mean, Jamie, again, thank you for giving us your time. Everyone who came in, Thank you again for viewing. I will will definitely be back next week with some other topic. Jamie might be here, maybe not, but keep an eye out for Weird Gaming Adventures review of the server. I will upload the VOD. So you know, if TurtleWoW catches my fancy, I might be making more content for it. We'll see. I'm pretty neck deep in a lot of other things right now, but maybe I can squeeze some time in.
Hey, that's no offense taken. If you're there, you're there, and we're already getting a review. So
Yep. Cool. All right, guys. I think that's gonna be it for us today. Josh, you like to sign us off?
Yes. For Dry Deck TV, I am Weird Gaming Adventure, and for TurtleWoW, thank you all, everybody, and we will see you in the next video.
Thanks for all the follows tonight, guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Bye bye.